I don't say that sport is special. What I say is that sport is another way for us to express our creativity.
A titan, a powerful figure who stands out for greatness of achievement. Meet the giants in the Titan's journey in the Ministry of Sport and Community Development's Community Sport Titan Series, a component of the SHAPE program. Introducing Sport Titan Vernlyn Anthony Ross. A pioneer of rugby locally, he has a fierce dedication to the sport, which is seen in his commitment to coaching and inspiring youth through sport.
In the old days, back in the old communities, you played whatever was available to you. So that amounted to football, the cricket, a bit of boxing in the community, a bit of wrestling in the community, those things. So at a young age, I did all of that. While I was in Europe, walking through the university to and from school and the market, etc., that I came upon this game, rugby. I saw on the university compound the guys playing and practicing rugby. And because of the background in the wrestling and the boxing and all of those, what we call wild things, I took an interest in the rugby because, in my view, rugby brought all of those things together. One day, a guy in the community by name of Ramesh Sibaransing, we called him Ducks. Ducks worked on the university compound. So he came to me and he asked, he said, "Vern, you want to go and learn to play rugby?" Well, the joy, the jubilation, just the invitation, and I went the Thursday, and as fate would have it, this Saturday I was in my first game. Well, didn't make much of it, but the Thursday interaction and then the Saturday into my first game, and a lot of things just happened after that. Rugby was like, hey, I've just gone up to heaven. Everything in one sport. The ability to hit and be hit, and the ability to think fast, the ability to make these quick calculations in your mind while things are happening around you, all of that in one spot, in one place. In 1988, I developed a little game by the name of Tagby, kind of derivative of rugby, you might say. Sort of a developmental tool so that preteen athletes, people in primary school then, could be introduced to some of the skills and the movement patterns of rugby. There was a school in my community, Santa Rosa, the Santa Rosa Government Primary School. And so I took that sport and began to volunteer my time to teach the students in the school. I adopted the school, as it were, and volunteered there for a number of years. So that was in my community, the work that I did, volunteering at the school. I don't say that sport is special. What I say is that sport is another way for us to express our creativity. And if we don't do the global search, if we don't allow everybody to participate, then we don't know how many people really are gifted. You could look at a population of people and you could just maths, English, Spanish, French, geography, literature, etc. with them. But if you don't expose them to sport, they're still missing something, because I keep saying, in my own experience over the years, I keep saying that there is science in sport and there is sport in science. I remember recently a former athlete of mine called me on his birthday and we were exchanging pleasantries and so on. And he said to me, "Coach, I will always remember you." I said, "Why?" He said, you taught me that there is nothing as impossible." And moments like that, that's what validates my work as a coach, when people talk that kind of talk to me. Yeah. I would tell the young people to, if you get involved in sport, give it the best shot. Don't forget the high morals and all the principles that you have learned, because they are relevant and significant in the moment in sport also. In my career as an athlete, there were ups and downs. Although I've been in rugby since 1967, I've had moments when, I've been deprived of things that I ought to have benefited from coming along the way. But I tend to view these things not as problems really, but as challenges that test how creative we can be in coming up with solutions. So one of the reasons why there is not much grey upstairs is because of that whole approach. Don't worry too much about things. Everything will work out. The creator has his own way of dealing with issues. Sometimes what happens is this, that the coach is the last person standing between the athlete and catastrophe. That's how significant the coach actually sometimes replaces father, mother, everybody. Sometimes it is just the coach. So as coaches, as people who are doing the community work, we have to understand what our significance is in the life of our charges. We have to understand. We play a very significant role. But the value of the coach is that the coach is a pair of eyes who is seeing the performance which the athlete cannot see for himself. So once that pair of eyes is doing the evaluation, that pair of eyes can detect where along the pattern, the movement pattern, where the flaw is and correct it to get the better result. And that's the value of the coach in terms of technical acquisition, in terms of the socialization process. The coach is very valuable.
The Community Sport Titan series is brought to you by the Ministry of Sport and Community Development. Remember to like, follow and share the Titans Journey on social media.